the passing of the crown and the new sanctuaries. The weight of decades was heavy on the shoulders of the Northern King. Inside the storied command halls of NorCal, John Choi stood before the grand map of the Western Territories, watching the flickering candlelight dance across the contours of a fractured land. He had fought the long wars, sparred with legends, and held the northern line against the relentless tide of the East Coast. But as he looked out across the assembled ranks of the coalition, united now with the South and the unaligned Outlanders, he knew a profound truth. The era of the old guard was shifting. The fire was still burning, but it needed fresh fuel and steady hands to guide it into the coming storm. John Choi turned away from the map, his eyes sweeping across his inner circle before settling on a figure standing with unwavering posture near the threshold. It was Crizzle, a first-class loyalist whose dedication had never once wavered. Crizzle had proven himself time and again through every bitter rivalry and frantic late-night session. He was smart, fiercely loyal, and possessed a thoughtful, calculating mind that could see 3 steps ahead in any neutral game or political maneuver. John Choi walked over, placing a heavy, reassuring hand on Crizzle's shoulder. The entire hall went silent, watching the transition of power unfold in real time. "I've fought my battles, Crizzle," John Choi said, his voice carrying the calm authority of a true sovereign. "The crown of the North belongs to the past now. But the future needs someone who understands honor, strategy, and what it truly means to stand by your brothers. I am stepping down. I choose you to take the throne." Crizzle stared back, the gravity of the mantle sinking in, before he bowed his head in deep respect, accepting the heavy responsibility. The Northern Kingdom was in good hands. The new sanctuaries of peace and training. With the alliance solidified and new leadership taking the reins, a vital initiative swept across the regions. Whispers turned into formal declarations. New training grounds were opening their doors, welcoming all warriors regardless of coast, district, or background. These weren't dingy basements or tense back-alley arcades. These were neutral sanctuaries meticulously vetted and reviewed by loyal generals from every corner of the map. The rule across all 3 sanctuaries was absolute, carved in stone by unanimous decree: no weapons. No attitudes. No bullshit. Just a pure, sacred space to coexist, share knowledge, and train with anyone willing to put in the work. Dawn's Arcade. Run by the mighty Dawn, a veritable demigod of wisdom whose understanding of frame data, spacing, and mental fortitude transcended ordinary play. Warriors who entered his domain walked out with entirely new perspectives on the game. Preppy's domain, governed by Preppy the Magnificent, a great and powerful sorcerer of the arcane and the controller layout alike. He had opened his mystical domain up to all, offering a sanctuary where magical setups and peerless execution reigned supreme. Romneto's Hall. Located far across the map in New York, run by Romneto the Ambassador. Though situated in Eastern Territory, Romneto operated as a neutral beacon, utilizing his unmatched abilities of promotion to rally the global Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cause and bridge distant lands. Generals from California had traveled to these neutral grounds multiple times, and the collective desire to return was overwhelming. They were sanctuaries of pure growth, far away from the petty squabbles of the past. Shadows on the horizon. Just as the coalition found its footing, a much darker and more mysterious tension settled over the western strongholds. Word reached the camps from scouts patrolling the outer frontiers, rumors of foreign powers gathering in the shadows. Armies from far and wide across the globe were gaining intelligence on all of them, watching the movements of the West Coast, the East Coast, and every faction in between. Countries across oceans, places that had once watched from afar while California fought its own civil wars in the streets, were now mobilizing grand, shadowy armies of their own. Nobody knew for sure what these foreign forces were planning, or who they ultimately intended to strike. The West was still locked in an existential war against Justin Wong and his East Coast acolytes. They weren't even done dealing with their own backyard tyrant. Yet, standing inside the Grand Hall with Crizzle newly crowned, Mike Chaos holding down James Games, VDO leading the unaligned, and Duck Vader and John Choi standing united in spirit, a fierce grin broke across the faces of the veterans. Let the foreign armies gather. Let the unknown powers scheme in the dark. The West Coast didn't need to know every detail of their plans to be ready, because they operated by a code older and more stubborn than any invading force. With a collective nod, the command was passed down the line, echoing off the stone walls and out into the neon-lit streets. Rush that shit down.